All right, I'm back, and I guess this is considered as part two. This is going to talk about the controller layout, combat functionality, and abilities. Basically, just the combat in itself. Now, let me explain this right here. This a rete stone, a rete stone, whatever it's called. You get this once you progress. I mean, you unlock this once you unlock the first dungeon or the first stage, I should say. It's pretty much a training ground, and it also lets you replay previous stages. So we'll just go on the basics right here before we delve into the combat. This right here is where you just train and get a concept of your abilities, controls, and all that. Wait, what does this turn off? Oh yeah, auto turbo. I'll turn off that. We'll worry about turbo later. Oh wait, let me. Now, don't mind me. I kind of just recently woke up, so excuse me if I sound a little out of it or sluggish. And plus, I'm smoking at the same time. Okay, so let's first talk about the controller layout. I'm gonna go off the default layout scheme, which is, as you know, similar. The combat is pretty much similar to Devil May Cry in the way you execute certain things. Certain things. So let's talk about the directional buttons first, and we're basing this off the PS5 controller, obviously. So yeah. So the D-pad functions as two things. You have the switch between toggle and your items. You have to press right on the D-pad, and to use said items, you could put it on shortcuts for up, down. I mean up, left, and down. So you only get to use items three items to use in combat or outside of combat. But note that you can customize it to however you want. So say if you want to put your potions on the up shortcut to use it, all you gotta do is press up to use a potion. Or say like high potion, if you want to put it on down or left, you put it in the shortcut that way and use it that way. But you can only have three. Uh, you can only have three equipped the shortcut at a time. Next is Torgal. Fuck. Okay, so Torgal has three basic commands. He'll automatically basically attack in battle. He'll just attack in general. But if you want to have him use specific commands in battle, you can have him sick, which He'll do a basic
You know what
attack.
to do, boy.
That's
Get
it.
him, boy.
He'll heal anybody in party, but he heals for a very small amount. It's usually between 10 to 20 or 25 HP per person, so it's not very
A
much.
little help.
as like a healing in a pinch if you don't have nothing left, or if you just need a little extra boost to health. And then lastly, Ravage is a two-way street. It depends on the position of the enemy. If the enemy is down on the ground, he'll knock them in the air like so. And if they're in the air, obviously, oops, hold up. Oh, we did get up. He'll knock them down to the ground, setting you up for more potential combos. You know what I'm saying? If you knock, you can't knock a large allies. I mean enemies in the air. So he'll do a basic 3-hit combo if you do it. If you do it in time with the attack to do a precision sick. Oh, he's dead. Hold up.
Over here. Give them all you've got, boy.
There you go.
There, boy.
But
you know what to do, boy.
There you go. But you have to time it right. You have to time it right with the attack. You can also add Torgo in the combo like so.
Don't let them get away. Sick of Torgal. Keep your distance, boy.
Like, you know. You see, like so. You know what I'm saying? So you can expand your combo to keep doing damage to an enemy, and I'm gonna get to something about that later on. So now we talk about the button layout. As you know, the button is similar to Devil May Cry 5 playstyle as well, with some minor changes here, minor changes specifically for 16. So it's based on controller wise. Triangle was originally the attack button. Button here, as you can see, is the fire button or the magic button. You do continuous magic damage, but the magic damage is very little. It does very little, mostly for just comboing. But if you charge it, you'll get a little magic shot.
Give them all you've got, boy.
Saying, and it's different for each icon, obviously.
Wake wins.
See, so whichever icon you equip with whichever specific magic you're gonna do. You should obviously know, since it's elemental based. I mean, it doesn't do elemental like magic like fire does, damage to ice shit like that. But what I mean, elemental based is each icon has its own element. So whichever icon you have is whichever specific element you're going to use. So for Phoenix, which is your default icon, of course you're going to get fire, Garuda, Arrow, and Titan, Stone. Not to spoil too much, but other icons, obviously you get other element magic. But square is your attack button now, instead of firing range shots. And you just pretty much get a 4-hit combo. That's pretty much it. You can also target add Turgo to additional attack after the end of the combo.
Don't let them get away.
You know. You also can charge it into. You can also add fire to a combo with your magic. You can charge your magic or imbue your sword with your element if you hold down the charge button,
There,
which
boy.
which will automatically knock enemy back or into the air as long as they're not
All you've
large
got, boy.
enemies, like so. Now, with the if you time the attacks with the magic with your magic, you can get a eight hit eight hit combo. But the thing is, the last magic shot will always knock the enemy back, no matter what. So like so, and if you add it with the magic,
Don't let them get away.
like that. And next is your iconic style, which is similar to your character style in Devil May Cry, which is circle. Now each icon has its own iconic style to use, so they're not the same, sort of different no matter what. So for the Phoenix, you'll have, I guess the best way is Virgil's warp, like so. We warp an enemy, and if you warp into the enemy after doing it, you could get a charge shot or a charge attack, like so, or a shift strike and a shift shot, like so, and that's good for gap closing. But you also have strike a stinger ability too. You know what I'm saying? Which also closes gaps if you don't have Phoenix for Phoenix shift, like so. And then lastly, you have your X is your jump button, which is the same as which is the same as a jump, but you don't jump very high, and you don't have air hike either. But you do have air step. Air step. You know what I'm saying? That's to get the air to do like helm breaker. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then what else? What else? Okay, so you of course you have to use ability points to use abilities, and what else? You start off with one, but if you master it, you'll get a additional step. But I don't think I could do it because on how small it is. But I'll try. Oh, there you go. There you go. And you only get the double air step if you master it. Now next is the iconic abilities. Each each icon has several abilities, but you can only use two abilities per icon. And by that, I'm gonna get to that shortly. So next is your top trigger buttons. So R1 I think was originally the lock target, which is no longer lock target. Well, which is lock on target isn't R1 on here. Like it's your dodge ability. Now your Clive always stays semi-locked on the target, so it's no matter who you're targeting. If you get close in range, if you get close on range to something, you automatically know by seeing that little dot on the mark. I mean, on your target or enemy. Unlike Devil May Cry 4 or 5, where even if you're close, you still automatically target enemies. You usually can't tell unless you're attacking in the direction of the enemy. You'll automatically see who you're targeting, no matter what. So even if you're not locked on, you'll still stay semi-locked on towards target. Now L1 is your which was your double trigger, is now the lock on. and you can switch between lock on toggle or lock on hold. And I have mine on lock on hold just as necessary. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you're in battle, and if you have to use toggle for attack while doing something else, I prefer to have it on hold so I don't accidentally hit the wrong target that I'm aiming for. And then okay, R2 is your iconic abilities. This is what you need to use your icon abilities. You hold R2, and yeah, I see you could pass two of them. Now each icon has a specific own ability to use, depending on which icon you use. As you see, it does a lot of damage. And it has a cooldown, so you won't be able to use it again until it resets. But like I said, each icon has its own ability to use, and depending on what you need it for at what specific time, which add on the combo and increase your score. Now you can. Oh, Garuda's iconic style ability is the Deadly Embrace, which pulls enemy close to you if they're small or medium. If they're large, you can't pull them close. What it'll do will it'll kind of like pull you up into the air. If for Titans, consider it as like uh, Nero's Devil Arm. You'll automatically block any incoming attack. Some attacks, you still might receive like a small portion of the damage taken, a small portion, but it blocks. And we'll get into that
Thanks
shortly.
to me.
Now, icon, I mean, our L2 is your icon switching. It's similar to Dante's style switching, but instead of the directional pad, you press L2 singly. But I don't like that because what if you try to do a specific style, which means you have to switch. Like, say if you do attack with Titan, but then you want to use the style by Garuda, it means you have to press it twice
Quake wins.
to switch to Garuda. I think it would have better if they actually had like held
Go,
L2,
Titan.
held L2, and then press like press like up up for the current icon, right for Phoenix, and then down to switch to Garuda, so you don't have to like switch twice to the one you want. I don't know why they did it that way, but yeah, but yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. But next is the taunt. Just like Devil May Cry, if you're playing on PS5 or PS4, the taunt button is the touchpad. But but the touchpad but the touchpad on here, but the taunt you gotta press touchpad and R2 at the same time, which don't always respond the way it's supposed to. You see what I mean? So I usually just like the hold R2 then press touchpad. Makes it easy to get off. See? It makes it easy to get off. What else? Oh yeah. Next we'll get in a little bit of precision based moves. So some icons have the ability to counter to counter attacks. This heat wave per counter projectiles, but you can also precision dodge the attack too. Oops. You can also do it with magic too, especially at enemies who's way back in the distance. Oops. I'll get which is good for avoiding attacks if you could time the if you know how to time the watch the frames to time the attack just right to get a precision like so. But you also have parry in here, kind of like a royal guard, and then you have oops, then you have an attacks some icon attacks that parry and counter, or not necessarily parry but counter attack, counter some attacks and projectiles. Like I said, the heat wave only counter and reverse projectile shots, so I have to wait. There we go. There we go. Now, Titans. And Titan's block could also parry and there you go. And if any enemies that's targeting somebody else, you can taunt. Oh, you could taunt them if they're targeting somebody else, even though it's not showing you. Even though it's not showing you right now, he'll get a little exclamation point, and all the enemies will come targeting it after you. It's kind of like a aggro for tank, aggro from a tank, pretty much. But yeah, let's see what else. What else? Oh yeah, let me turn that off first for a second. Okay, so that's pretty much the basis of the controls and the basic combat. Now, as you mentioned before, no, you don't have access to control anybody else. The only person you have access to at any time, because Turkles is always with you. No matter who goes or comes in the party, Torgal is always by your side. So you only have access to use Torgal. You don't use them physically or manually. Just you have, well, you know what I mean. You don't have like full access control of Torgal. You can only have him basically do certain abilities. Like I mentioned before, he will gradually make attacks on his own, and sometimes randomly heal you in a pinch if necessary on his own. But then you have the timely rings, which I'll explain. Okay. Equip that, and then Torgal will pretty much attack on his own.
Over here.
See?
You know what to do, boy. Give them all you've got, boy.
And that way you don't have to worry about Torgal in battle.
Get him, boy. Over here. Sick of Torgal. You know what to do, boy.
Oh yeah, nothing I should mention is the stagger. It's similar to Final Fantasy 14, no, 13 and 14, or and a little bit of the 7. You take down the enemies. Hold on, let me restart it. All right. Uh, so certain medium, large, and boss-sized enemies will have a stagger meter below its health. Oh, also I should mention my limit break. My limit break is clearly right under my health, but it's not. I'm not gonna talk about that because you get there later in the game, and obviously limit break just pretty much what's that. You don't get like no special ability. You just kind of go Super Saiyan style as long as you have the meter up, and pretty much you get additional attacks in your combo, and you also do more damage, and you don't react to attacks that will literally knock you back, pretty much. Depending on which attack it is, some of them you can easily avoid, and some of them will potentially knock you back in that state. So back to the stagger. Okay, so here's the deal. You you, you have the willpower. The willpower is pretty much how much you break your enemy down. So the more higher your willpower, the more the higher the willpower, the much more your enemy's stagger ability go down. Once you get the enemy's stagger meter down to 50%, you'll temporarily stun them.
Sick of Toggle. Keep your distance, boy. Give them all you've got, boy. Get them, boy.
Now your attacks and magic won't really do much. Won't really do much. Taking down the enemy's stagger is kind of like a pinch a little bit per hit. See, but once you stagger it, you get the access to do like Garuda's Deadly Embrace on medium and large size enemy like so. And like I said, they'll be temporarily stunned. But your charge shots, and your charge shots and your charge strikes will take down a little more.
Sick of Toggle. Get him.
You know what I'm saying? But if you really want to wear down the enemy's stagger meter, iconic abilities is the best way to go. That does a massive amount of stagger damage.
Give them all you've got, boy. Keep your distance, boy.
You know what I'm saying? And each iconic ability has a different overall stat to how much it does per enemy.
Give them all you've got, boy.
And while they're done, all your attacks are critical. And if you at that time, this is pretty much at the point where you want to do as much damage as you possibly can while they're temporarily staggered.
Keep your distance, boy. There, boy.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna show you something. Wait, alright. So, excuse me. So, yeah, as you can see, the damage is 2 stars, while the stagger or the willpower, no, that's a stagger, is 2. But say something like this, oh, that's the same thing. So, like there, like you see, the stagger will break down the enemy's will much faster with the higher the stars it is. As you can see, that does much more damage than it does much more damage than actual stagger. So that's usually good to use that just for a little quick burst of dropping health on top of bringing down the stagger meter just a little bit. See why that does more. but it still has a good amount of damage as well. So depending on which target you want to, I mean, depending on which enemy you're facing and which icon you want to use in that specific point. And I'm not going to tell you which icons you have. That's not going to spoil it. But I'm pretty sure you'll probably, look it up or watch other video, somebody else's video to see all the icons if you're really interested in knowing. But yeah, that's pretty much the basis of the combat right there. Um, I'm trying to think of anything else you should know about the combat. Oh, okay. At the very top where you see says Final Fantasy, that is my I guess you could say current difficulty at the moment. Like this is like I said before that I'm on a second playthrough, so I'm playing it on Final Fantasy mode. Final Fantasy mode pretty much increases the health, I think health and defense of all enemies. So you're doing much well, you're not doing as much damage as you normally would. Also, any weapon you have unlocked and upgraded, you can upgrade it even more during this playthrough. I don't know if you'll be able to do it more after another playthrough, but yeah. And your level cap, excuse me, and your level cap on Final Fantasy mode is now can now be synced up to 100. I think it's it's synced for normal playstyle for 50. Also note that these the little icons next to the Final Fantasy are your timely ring based accessories. This is pretty much this is actually pretty much the difficulty curve and your handicap. If you have if you start off on story mode, you automatically have timely rings equipped. But if you start off on our action mode, it focuses heavily on action. So I think you don't have either one or none timely accessories equipped. But the timely accessories is like your handicap, depending on how easy or how hard you want to play through the game. You pretty much get five of them, but obviously you can have only three equipped at most, and each one has its own benefit. Now, when I first started the first playthrough, I started only with timely assistance because I thought it would be a struggle to use toggle while trying to focus on the combat at the same time. But as I kept play through, I attempted not. I mean, I attempted to try without the timely assistance, and it's not. Toggle's not really all that bad to use. You might miss a chance of a precision sick, you know what I'm saying, in some instances, but Turgle is fairly easy to manage while in the midst of battle. So you don't necessarily have to have the necessarily don't have to have the timely ring accessible. So here's basically what it is. The timely strikes makes you execute iconic abilities with and combinations with just a simple button, which I don't like because you might accidentally hit like a wrong style at the wrong time that you didn't want to do. So I don't. I never used that. I tried it just to see what it does, and I didn't like it. And timely vision, I tried it just once, just to see exactly what it does specifically. But yeah, I don't really use the timely rings besides the timely assistance. But I eventually took that off as well. I don't know why. I just prefer to do everything manually. So next is the timely evasion, which automatically evades attacks without the need of any time windows or anything like that. But because of that, you'll miss out on the chance to miss out a chance on parrying certain attacks with icon abilities such as um, Titan's ability or another specific icon that has position a position parry, which you definitely need for a specific reason, which I'm not going to get into that. And timely focus is the same thing, but this time it gives you a window to press R1, a short window to press R1 before you lose, to get the precision dodge to follow through with like uh, a precision strike or precision shot. The time to heal automatically use potions when your client's health reach a certain point. Now, potions will be top priority. Potions will be top priority, and if you don't have no potions, then high potions will be next in line. That will be automatically used.
I heard Otto barking at his lot earlier.
But that, yeah, that's
Looks like
pretty
we
much
might
the
be
base of the combat. I
what he
mean,
was
if
supposed
you
to
play,
be.
obviously, if you play Devil May Cry, it'll be fairly simple and easy to learn. It'll be weird. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a little weird to use that type of style in a Final Fantasy game. And I know a lot of people, well, a fraction of people have a issue with it because Final Fantasy has been recently going the action style gameplay approach, and it's taken away a little bit from the classic ATB or turn-based battle. Which I mean, in this time and age, if you do it right, I guess it could still work. But I could see Roddick going more in the action route within these current times. I mean, it could still. I mean, like I said, you could still pull it off. Look at Persona 5 and World of Final Fantasy that still use the classic turn-based turn-based system. You know what I'm saying? So what else? Oh yeah, I mean it. I mean it's fun to play. Don't get me wrong. Like playing it this way is more engaging and it keeps you somewhat entertained. But again, it's still fucking weird as shit. It kind of throws you off, especially playing like a combat, Devil May Cry style combat in a Final Fantasy game. But I'm gonna move on to the last video, which will do some actual mock battles, and I'll also explain another situation dealing with the this stone thing here. So I'll let you in the next video.